Rebels and rule breakers. Chief Rebel here, walking the dog, doing my thing, where I think out loud and talk to you at the same time. This week's post, this week's sort of Monday question has been around how do we stop apologising for how we feel about things. Hi Chris, long time no see, all of about an hour. So how do we stop apologising for how we feel about things and resist the conditioning, which is something I was talking to my friend about yesterday, the conditioning that some of us have, and probably most of us have, around this need to keep our feelings to ourselves, or at least apologise for the fact that we feel a certain way about things. Hi Zoe. So this is really poignant stuff for me right now. It's very pertinent to my personal growth journey right now, because I am working through some stuff. And as is my way, I don't ever profess to be a perfectly evolved human being, despite being Chief Rebel and leading a group like this and a bit of a mission. Hi Andrew. Andy. Andrew, some don't know. Good to see you, mate. I don't, I don't bear all, online, but I'm also very clear about the fact that I am quite prepared to be vulnerable in front of you guys, because I think that's part of what, for me, rebellion is about, being able to be vulnerable in order to find strength. And so I'm working through some stuff. And that question that I posed on Monday actually was scheduled a few weeks ago, and it was just something I didn't massively think about when I posted it. I just thought it'd be quite an interesting question. And since then, what I've discovered is that it's actually very poignant for me right now, because I am finding myself in some circumstances feeling the need to apologise for feeling a certain way about things. And it's a challenge, it's a massive challenge, and I've had extensive conversations with people in my inner circle about this, one of which was yesterday, thank you Rippers by the way, about how through various experiences in my life, and probably similar to many of you out there, I have been conditioned to squash my feelings, be apologetic about feeling hurt, angry, upset, requiring of certain things, all of that kind of stuff. So it's a tough journey, to be honest. And I suppose one of the things that is key in my mind right now is I know rationally that we shouldn't have to apologise for our emotions. That's the advice I would give anybody else. You should never apologise for how you feel about something, and actually some advice that Ripley Fletcher gave me many years ago and continues to repeat, because I need to hear that sometimes. She's a wise one, that lady. So you should never have to apologise for your feelings, and I know that rationally. However, does it stop me doing that? No, it doesn't. Because of conditioning. Because of repeated and compounded occasions where, when I have revealed how I feel about something, it's got squashed, gaslighted, rejected, blamed, judged, all of that shit, all that horrible toxic shit. So I know this. I know I should never have to apologise. And if I am judged, squashed, stifled, rejected for those things, then those people should not be ones that I entertain in my life for any longer. I know this rationally. We all know this stuff rationally, don't we? Of course we do. But does it stop it happening? No. So what do we do with it? Well, I think first of all we have to honour and acknowledge that that's happening, not beat ourselves up about it. Easier said than done. You have to keep reminding yourself it's micro decisions, micro reminders, micro processes internally that we have to go through to figure that out. And then what do? Well, maybe we just crack on and do it anyway. And actually the key is not the problem with how you feel. That is not actually a problem. How you feel about something is not a problem. What the important factor here is, and the pivotal factor is, what you do about it, right? So one of the things that I'm really clear about right now is I don't want other people to be paying for my past pain and suffering. I don't want to blame them or put, any of my inner circle in a position where they have to suffer because of my past suffering. So I want to work through some stuff, and respond and react to things that happen to me, with their, judgment of its own merit, if that makes sense, without trying to put too much of a layer. And it's probably impossible to do that 100% successfully, but without putting a layer of shit on top of an interaction that you have with somebody that doesn't belong to them or doesn't belong to this scenario. Does that make sense? And so, as always, it's not about. Sorry, picking up dog presents. It's not about how you feel. That's not the problem. It's what you do with that feeling that is or isn't a problem. And that's the important thing. It's about self-management, isn't it? Self-awareness that you feel these things, and honour the fact that that's happening for you. Identifying it, going through a process of understanding why that's happening. And then it's about knowing that your actions have an impact on other people, and that's the bit that is about the management bit, the self-management bit, the social management bit, the relationship management bit. That's the pivotal point. And the really important thing about doing that stuff well, is that it not only helps you have healthier relationships with people, whether it's working relationships, friends, family, romantic, whatever it may be. It's not just that. It's the fact that the more positive those interactions are as a result of your self-management and self-awareness, the more you are likely to find evidence to the contrary of your conditioning, your conditioned beliefs and your learned behaviours. Fucking hell, this is stellar, this is. Thanks for being my therapist, by the way, guys. This is really helping me right now. So the more you interact positively with people without filtering it through a layer of shit from your past, the more likely you are to have better interactions, and the more likely you are to be able to stack up evidence that helps you almost heal that conditioning, or at least tip the balance a little bit. We all have wounds, we all carry pain and suffering, and we can't always solve all of that, we can't always heal all of that. What we can do is try and change the direction of our thinking, and therefore change the direction of our relationships, and that creates a feedback loop, doesn't it? A positive feedback loop. So in music, and I've spoken about this before, in live music terms, there's something called the Larsen effect. And the Larsen effect is that feedback loop. When you go to a live gig and the feedback comes through the system and it deafens your ears, that's because there's a signal repeating over and over again. So you speak into a microphone, that goes into the speakers or the sound system or the monitors, and that amplifies over and over again till it becomes deafeningly loud in a space of a split second. That essentially is representative of what happens in our confused little scared children minds that are housed in adult bodies. We get the Larsen effect. Now, that can be a positive or a negative feedback loop. And so if we feed lots of negative thoughts and we don't deal with it and we don't attend to it, that feedback loop is going to get louder and louder and louder and more ear-piercing as a result. The challenge is changing the tide of that and trying to put some good information in for that to amplify instead. And that takes repeated cycles. It takes micro decisions, moments of clarity, forgiving yourself when you miss the opportunity or make a mistake. And that's the stuff that's going on for me right now. And I thought it might be helpful for any of you out there, because I think most people have experienced at least something of this, haven't they? This negative Larson effect, this negative feedback loop, this conditioning. So stop fucking apologising for how you feel, Emma. And all of you. That's the lesson for today. Done. I feel quite pleased with that. I feel quite satisfied by it. I feel quite rejuvenated by it. Thank you for the opportunity and for sticking with me on it. Keep rebelling, people. Chief Rebel out.